Erev Tov, welcome back to Counting the Omer. We're going to say the blessing together and then jump into our topic for the evening. So please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with commandments, commanding us in the counting of the Omer. And we announce the day of the Omer, which is the sixth day. Hayom Shisha Yamim La Omer. Today is the sixth day of the Omer. So I was thinking tonight about the idea of chametz and spiritual chametz. So the whole idea with chametz is that we're supposed to go through this vigorous cleaning of our houses to remove all the chametz, gather all those crumbs before Passover starts. And the rabbis also talk about a kind of spiritual chametz, that a sort of spiritual cleansing that needs to be done during Passover. And there are many explanations for what the chametz might represent spiritually or in our lives beyond the literal sense. And there are two that I really like that I want to share with you. One is the idea that what causes bread to rise is the leavening agent, is that chametz. That's what makes it chametz. And so the rabbis say that teach that the spiritual chametz that represents that idea of the things that swell up like bread, the things that cause us to swell up. So not literally, but in terms of our egos, what makes our egos swell up. And so part of that work, that spiritual work, is thinking about ways in which we have gotten to be too full of ourselves. I like that explanation. And there's another explanation that if you imagine, the Israelites were carrying the matzah on their backs, the chametz represents the things that weigh us down, the baggage that we carry from unfulfilled promises, from failed relationships, from things that are disappointing, all those things that weigh us down that we need to sort of shed and get rid of. And so I was thinking about this idea of the spiritual chametz and thinking about how we can bring that into this conversation about the environment. And two things that I've thought of tonight. One is something that I found from Rabbi Ellen Bernstein on her website. She has links to all these old publications from when she ran Shomer Adamah, an organization, and one of them is a greening guide for holidays. And in that, she suggests that during Passover, that just like we get rid of all the chametz in our house, that we think about the things in our house that are poisonous to us, that are toxic, and remove those as well. So I like that idea. It doesn't really connect to the spiritual nature that I mentioned, but it's a great thing to do. But in terms of the spiritual representation of the chametz, what I was thinking is, if we ask ourselves, if we're really honest with ourselves, that we have to consume in order to live and in order to thrive. And Judaism doesn't teach that we should go live off the grid for many reasons. That's not what Judaism is about. And so there's not an implication that we shouldn't be able to use the resources in our world, but that we have to do it in a sustainable way. And part of that is thinking about where our ego comes into play and being aware of, like, maybe we don't need to consume so much, or so just what are the things where maybe we do something even though we know it's not the best for the environment, but we do it because it's convenient or for whatever reason. So those things, I was thinking, could be spiritually weighing us down as well, in terms of our commitment to the environment. It is really hard to consistently live in a way that where you're doing things that are always in the best interest of the environment. It is just really hard. And so if we're reflecting on what's one or two what are one or two ways that we can maybe remove some of that chametz, some of that heaviness from our lives. So for me, one thing I was thinking about is I know I need to be better about this, and I think a lot of people are in the same scenario. Is the just the immediacy and availability of immediately getting things online. You think of something, oh, I'm going to order that, and then whether it's Amazon or whatever, getting all the individual packages, and I think part of that comes down to our egos and this sense that, well, like we're important enough that we should be able to get that. I need that thing now. And if we really ask ourselves, like most of the time, for me at least, most of the time, it's not something that I need to get the next day or within the 2 days or whatever. And so for me, what I'm thinking about in terms of that spiritual cleansing that I really want to commit to is when I have that sort of immediate urge, like, oh, I need to go online and order this thing, is to not go online and order that thing, but to write it down on a list, and wait until I have a significant number of things, or wait until something that I do urgently need comes up, and then go ahead and order all the things that I've been keeping track of, and just to get out of that habit of feeling like, well, just because there are companies that can send us things really quickly, that doesn't mean we should be doing it. We know that it has a really detrimental impact on the environment, not to mention what it does for all the employees who have to run around and deliver things quickly. So that's one thing that I'm thinking about tonight that can help take care of our land, be a little more sustainable, and do a little bit of spiritual chametz cleansing as well this Passover. So love to hear what you're thinking, and I hope you have